May all beings be happy. May all beings be free.
With the wish to free our beings, I rely on the enlightened ones, their teachings and the exalted community, until I am enlightened, infused by compassion and wisdom. Today, in this sacred presence, I generate the mind of enlightenment for the sake of all sentient beings. For as long as space endures and sentient beings remain, may I dispel the world's misery with my love and praying for our family, our community, and our world. The journey is long and challenging. Our heart leaps as we approach the holy city. We enter the temple. We offer our prayers. And as we stand to return home, we see the eyes of the other pilgrims coming towards us. And behind each one, we find the radiance of the Lord of Namo Gurubhya, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. Namo Gurubhya, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. Namo Gurubhya, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya.
These are the 21 praises of time. If one has pure devotion to have, recite this prayer, confident and mindful. Remember rising at dawn and at dusk. This prayer provides protection from all fears. It comes for all beings wherever they may be. May your quarrels and wars be forever ended. May poverty and sickness be lifted from the sun. May the purified hearts auspiciously free. May all beings be happy. May all beings be free. May all beings be happy. May all beings be free. May all beings be happy. May all beings be free.
Hello, hello, hello. What amazing times to gather together to share with all of you beautiful beings. I'm so grateful. Thank you for coming. This is certainly the time for us to come together. It's an important time and a precious, incredible opportunity for us to really concentrate and make a difference on our own lives and the lives of those around us, and certainly in the conditions of our world. I have received so many interesting, uplifting messages from all of you, and also from people that I rarely hear from. It's really exciting to know that there they are, just like me, kept in a space so that we really do have time to share, to talk, to communicate, and to explore different avenues. And so I am happy that we have these circumstances. I'm happy that we are able to make the most of these circumstances. Now, every time that the earth suffers a convulsion like this, where there's a pandemic, as they call it, remember, it does pass. And so that's the first thing that we need to really hold to our understanding, is that this situation, these conditions are impermanent. There's nothing permanent about them. And so
knowing that at some point everything is going to shift and change, we can use this situation to really look at it and see, all right, my normal way of doing things, certainly, and all of those plans that we had made, it's really kind of interesting to see. I mean, I'm used to the rug being pulled out from under me, but this is on such a universal scale to have everything shutting down. It's remarkable the different kind of opportunity this is and what is actually occurring on the planet. People die. This is true, whether they die of a virus or whether they die of a car accident or whatever it is, people die. So this is a given. And although it's shocking to hear the calculations, they're not really placed against the figures of how many people are dying from other causes and how many people are not dying from other causes that normally would if the world was rocking and rolling in the way it usually does. So yes, there are changes and challenges, but it's really not so very different. What's different is to have all of this communication about it. I mean, being on the internet and the television and so forth, we are totally in contact with so much of the rest of the world, and so interesting to see how different people in different cultures and different countries are dealing and what's working, what's not working. Really some wonderful sort of stimulus from different corners of things to do, how to work with children that are now kept at home. That's a big change for families to have so many children. There you are. And family members who normally go off to work, there you are. So we have to really get it together. We have to make an effort. But we always have to make an effort. That's part of what being human is. We might get a little bit of cruise time, but for the most part, our life is about making an effort. And of course, what direction? Now, what are we going to do? How are we going to do it? The teachings that we are engaged in, these wonderful practices coming through the Tibetan Buddhist line, and influenced by our 20th century vast connections with so many cultures and spiritual orientations and incredible beings who have exhibited accomplishment when it comes to mind development, heart development, consciousness development. As we explore all of this, this is a real opportunity, because when things break down, when things fall apart, when things change, it allows us to develop a different perspective. So take a look at that. Take a look at that. See where your points of resistance are. See what can you do to ease the stress? What can you focus more on your breath? Of course, I recommend that's a helper in almost every condition and situation, is to really focus on your breath and letting go of tension. Let go of tension. Resistance and tension, anxiety and fear, they're not going to get us anywhere. They're not going to get us anywhere under any circumstances. So the sooner we learn to deal with it, the better. Well, here's our big opportunity, because I imagine during the course of the day that each one of us is faced with moments where we are saying to ourselves, well, I would sure like to be able to go outside, or I would sure like to be able to go and visit with my friends, or I would like to be able to get on the plane or get in the car or see or do something different than what I'm doing. I'm bored, I'm tired. You know, all of the various excuses that we make that allow us, or I shouldn't even say allow, what they do is they pull us in a direction that's non-functional. And you know, according to our Tibetan Buddhist teachers, but especially our scientists, they're really getting into this whole understanding of cultivating positive attitudes, no matter what is going on, is the healthiest thing that we can do for ourselves and the people around us. And yes, the people around us, we need to really think about how do we help the people around us. I heard the most beautiful story. Miri, right now, is she's with her mother in Guyana, and her mother, being over 60, is subject to a lot of restriction. She is not allowed to go out of her house, and the city is shutting down. It's not allowing people to come and go. But of course, Miri's grateful that she's there to be able to take care of her, because her normal caretakers cannot come and help. And so she told me this story about an individual who was 63. Now, the line is drawn at 60. Everyone over 60 is considered to be really, well, what is the word that we want to use? Josh? I can't
High
hear
risk.
you. High risk, yes. Yeah. I mean, I had to laugh myself that I'm considered high risk. Well, yeah, that's probably true. I'm high risk for just about everything. But anyway, and this is universal. Over 60, we're high risk. So here, this individual was 62, and neighbors that he barely knew called him. They're much younger, to say that they understood about his condition and that he couldn't go out shopping, and could they shop for him. And so it was a beautiful story, because people who don't know each other are thinking about each other. Because of course, you know, I can't even imagine a more perfect situation to be isolated in. I'm not isolated at all. I'm with beloved friends in a beautiful environment, nature that I can walk around in because there isn't anybody else here. So it's rather remarkable for me, but I can imagine how it is for people in the inner city who don't have very much money, and the conditions for children, and wow, people who are alone in their apartments and isolated, not knowing what to do, not having the great gift of a beautiful sangha like this one. It's so beautiful to see all of you. I'm going to click on my little arrow and get it. Ooh, yes, it's fantastic. So many beautiful people. Yeah, I'll put my there. Okay. Yeah, so thank you for sitting through the credits of the Quiet Revolution. When I was looking through things, what I could share with you today to open this meeting. Well, one of the main projects that I'm involved in is trying to get all of these magnificent videos and DVDs that Anahata made, and that Barbara Patton helped us with, and these wonderful things, to get them available, easy available, so that if anyone asks, I can just say, well, just go online, you can watch it, and you can download it. So, and while I was watching it, I realized, I remember Anahata making the credits and telling me how very often in movies, you know, people turn the movie off when it's time to watch the credits, because, okay, we've watched the movie, we're finished, yeah, ha, ha. So, but she was determined that people were going to look at her credits. And so she did a fabulous job with the music and the assembly of images, and, you know, to carry the theme and the feeling all the way through to the end, to make you want to watch the end. So I thought that I would take advantage of that to share with you, and definitely to point out, please do watch or download Quiet Revolution. That was our first collaboration, Anahata and me, and it was incredible. That pilgrimage was really amazing, to see what all of us do as we come together as a Sangha, what's possible. Now, we've achieved a number of these sort of gatherings of the Taras, and going out into the world and sharing it with the world. And it's really precious, the way we have been able to gather so many different kinds of people and different cultures and circumstances It is really very, very precious. So I'm praying that we can continue that. Of course, we had to stop our event to Ecuador, and most of my teachings in Brazil have been canceled. I'm hoping by the end of May, but who knows what's going to actually happen. But by the end of May, they might let foreigners, which is me, into Brazil. Right now, they are not. And anyone who attempts to go in is put into quarantine immediately, which was why I decided not to go. So let's, anyway, I thought I would start by that, although there was one other piece about the virus that I wanted to share, because many of you have adult children who are wondering what to do and how to do it, and or friends. First of all, it's very helpful to keep in contact with people who are isolated. If you know people who are isolated, you can send them messages or even a little phone call. You can tell them you only have a couple minutes, but that reaching out is going to make a very big difference for some people. So I wanted to encourage you to do that. And the other thing, as I said, for people who have adult children, or to encourage them to make some kind of schedule, a loose schedule. Of course, it's kind of nice that we're not hopping to the dictatorship of the clock right now. But it also means that there are large periods of time when we are not engaged. And so without some kind of focus, people can get lost into television or internet or playing games, or, and then feeling bored and feeling lost and feeling uninspired. So there are many different things that we can do to schedule a program of practice, of music, of art, of study, perhaps of a foreign language. Try to encourage them so that they're not feeling quite so isolated and at a loss. Okay, so aside from all of that, I'm going to ask all of you to think about, I'd like you to share with each other if you have any special ways that you're using to engage, to deal with this issue of the virus. But before we get to that, I'd like to share with you some of the things that have been inspiring me. Now, the first one, if I can find it, I think it's right here. Here it is. It's a book called The Dalai Lama's Cat. Yes, the Dalai Lama's cat. It is well, I imagine it's not a true book, because since when do cats write books? But anyway, and I really don't know if His Holiness has a cat or not. It was written by this fellow named David Mitchie. And he just really put the teachings of the Dharma in the most adorable way. This cat definitely has an attitude, and it's very, very helpful for him that he lives with His Holiness and is invited to look at his attitude and behavior. So there are some really exquisite quotes that come from this beautiful engagement with, and I'm sure that this David Mitchie must have had some connection with His Holiness, because it really is very special. But before I do that, the one I really want to share with, that I took quite elaborate notes. It was sent to me by Linda Lakshmi of Maui. She's such a sweetheart. Linda opens her home for us to share the Tara dance on Maui. And it's called What You Focus On Is What Becomes Powerful, Why Your Thoughts and Feelings Matter. And this is by a neuroscientist. So once again, we have our scientists studying something that's really important and magical and relates very closely to our Dharma practice. What you focus on is what becomes powerful. Experience, it's called, now here's a nice mouthful of words. experience-dependent neuroplasty. So if you want to wander a particular set of research things, that's what it's called. But it comes up with the same conclusions that, of course, we come up with in our Dharma practice, which is that experience, I love it. This is like the scientists discovered something. They discovered that the brain is actually malleable, that it's not a fixed entity, that in fact, it changes all the time, and it changes according to our experience and how we work with our experience. So it's the experience changes the brain. Each time you have an experience, the relevant neurons, now see there, we back it to our science again, the relative neurons switch on and start firing. So each time we have an experience, what has come before, what we have placed in the mind before, if it looks like, it's going to start firing. So if we've had habits of when we hear a certain tone, when we see a certain image, when we smell a certain smell, there might be some reactivity involved in that. Now, the power of mindfulness is that we can examine this without making judgment, without freaking out, we can examine the thing, the experience, and our feelings about the experience. And by doing that, we can alter our feelings about the experience, which is another experience. And because of that, we can develop and cultivate more positive ways of engagement, which is going to change everything for us. Let's see what else this fellow had to say, because I totally enjoyed this article and read it a few times. The neurons that are connected to your immediate experience, what you are feeling, thinking, seeing, sensing, doing, experience, they fire. Every time they fire, new connections form within minutes. The more connected the neurons, the stronger that area of the brain. The neurons that aren't needed, in other words, if you move your focus of attention away from the things that make you crazy and make you unhappy and the sensory judgments, they simply fall away. They wither away, is the scientists' terms. They eventually wither away. Okay, so he calls this brain real estate. So if we're not living in it, then it's not going to sustain. Every time we have an experience, the neurons being activated, when we repeat or prolong an experience, they keep the connections between neurons strong. Now, what he's saying here that I found very interesting, we have the tendency, now one of my old statements that I've been saying for over 30 years, the mind, when something irritates us, when we're angry about something, we don't like what somebody has said, we don't like what has happened, we hang on to this. So my metaphor was the mind is like water running downhill, and it's going to sink to the lowest level and hang out there. Now, according to what this scientist is saying, if we continue to allow that to happen, then the negative assembly of neurons sustains and increases. So, continuing with the metaphor, what I have often said, my observation was what we need to do is we need to place sandbags. So we need, in other words, we need to alter the course of the water that's pouring down the mountain so that it doesn't get to the muddy pond at the bottom. So what are these sandbags? What is it that we can actually do to redirect the force? Well, there are a number of things actually, but in the Tara practice, well, you could invoke Tara and actually insist, ask, let me change this. I can see that my mind is obsessed with this insult that I received, and I just can't stop thinking, I said, he said, I said again, he said, I said, and then, and I just keep running around and around in a big circle. So Tara, help me. Now, this is one of her specialties. And start chanting her mantra. And if you've got a mala, I suggest you get it out and keep it around you, because it gives you something to hold on to. Remember, the more you can add to your visceral experience, the more that you can add to the sensations of hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, all of these things are going to increase your sensory experience, and therefore you're going to start empowering yourself to automatically shift the mind when the sensations are heading in the direction of obsessive negativity. So yes, start chanting your mantra. Okay, now not only the chanting, because the mind is still floating off into all of its different directions. So now you start really instilling what you would like to see happen. In other words, this situation was difficult. May no one else ever have to suffer this. May I never get it. May I find a way to be kind. And think about the 3 different meditations that we do with the mantra, with Tara's mantra. The first one is we ask that the elements be balanced. So spend a bit of time saying the mantra and thinking how necessary that is. Now, for instance, on Maui right now, lots of rain. So we would like a little bit less rain. Over here in Gainesville, Florida, not enough rain. So we'd like some rain. So actually think about the elements that are not balanced around you. Then think about the elements that are not balanced within you. Do you have a little bit too much fire or not enough fire? Do you have too much water or not enough water? Examine using the power of the mantra. This helps the mind to disengage from its habitual pattern of heading down the hill. There's your sandbag. It's going to redirect its force. Also think, okay, I'm generating this mantra. I'm connected with Tara. I want to give her all, let me think about my joys. Now, here's another one that I really encourage you to cultivate, is some way of remembering what your joys are. And I suggest you write them down. Now, I've called this in the past a gratitude list. It's very, very helpful, a gratitude list, so that you can remember, I got my favorite kind of coffee. I've got my favorite kind of milk. I got my favorite kind of breakfast companion. I got my favorite kind of bed. Nothing is too small. Now, according to these notes, I know that I'm going to bump into it eventually, that if we can sustain for 20 seconds, apparently, according to this guy, see, with the Buddha it was 84,000. Now this guy's 20 seconds in 1 second. If we can sustain for 20 seconds the positive attitude, that reforms the neurons. Now the other thing, I'll see if I can, here it is. Experience reaches our genes through the tiny atoms in the DNA inside the nuclei of neurons and changes the way they function. This is amazing for us to know. It's amazing. So at the very heart of, a lot of times, one of the excuses that we use for our chaotic behavior and our difficult behavior, our unkind behavior, or our self-obsessive behavior, we use the excuse that it's genetic. My mother was like this, my father was like this, my grand, blah, blah, blah. It's genetic. So this is telling us that even what we inherit genetically can be transformed. even that can be transformed through the nature of experience. And experience is not only what is done to us, but it is what we do when we engage. Experience is what we do, how we engage with whatever is happening. That is a powerful aspect of our conditioning, almost more important than what is actually happening, is what we do with it. Really important things to know. Yeah, the genes that have the capacity to soothe a stress reaction in the heat of a moment ultimately make us more able to deal with stress, because we learn how to deflect the obsessive push to head for the most negative place that we experience, because it's the habit, it's what we know. So we want to change that completely, and lucky for us, we can change it completely. So let's see. Oh, and then there's this one. What is so important is to be deliberate about who you're with and what you do. So we can't always control that. I mean, particularly now in this situation, we're with who we're with. we are, whatever is going on, this is what's going on. But we can control what we watch on the television. We can control what books we read. We can control whatever influence we invite into our life, understanding how important it is. So certainly, by all of you joining in this beautiful gathering, you are honoring that particular aspect of seeking out good company. Because of course, as I look at all of you, I say, wow, this is amazing. What a wonderful group of people we have here. It's fantastic. I hope you can all see each other. I think so, yes, if you hit your gallery thing. Yeah, it's really, it's fantastic. It's wonderful. Just wonderful. Yeah, so, but remember, these things are important. These things are important. They matter. And so it's important for us as we engage with our practice, because of course that's the other part of what I want to develop or help you to orient, is how precious and powerful our practices are. So I understand that Amber, I think she's online somewhere. I don't see her. No, not. Yes, maybe. Oh, yeah. There she is. Okay. Because she is going to be engaging some Zoom practice time. So if you want to practice with Amber, you got the opportunity to do that. Now I'm going to do some of that myself, but I have to, yeah, I'm working into it. I just unpacked my suitcases a couple of days ago, realizing, no, I'm here. Now I have to figure out how I'm going to be here. So once I sort that all out, and it looks like I might be here for up to a month, then I will start doing some Zoom practice sessions where we actually stand up and dance together, which I think would be really a lovely thing to do. Yeah. Oh, I see some excitement. Oh, yes. Oh, I see excitement. Yeah. Oh, thumbs up. Okay, thumbs up. So, so I will do that. But I know that Amber is definitely spoke with me about doing, you know, I forget what time. Later on, I'm going to let you all talk a little bit, and so she can tell us when it is. And so, so we can sort that out. And then, of course, our dear Miri, I am hoping that you all opened the beautiful email that she sent around to everyone, inviting everybody to do practice together. So 8 minutes of practice, and she's doing it 4 times a day. So you have ample opportunity to plug in. And I will see if I will try to set her up with the Zoom facility so you can actually practice together on Zoom. But the chanting doesn't really work. We've discovered that there's a big delay between hither and thither, but that's okay if you just have the music and or you just listen to the meditation. You know, you can be together. I think it's a really wonderful thing that she has started. So that's a a good opportunity, because these practices, remember, these practices are setting by sustaining them, by sustaining it. This is why, you know, our dance of the qualities, it's almost 30 minutes. So this scientist over here is telling us that we are changing our DNA by 20 seconds of concentration on something positive. Our dance of the qualities of Tara, it's 30 minutes. How many of those 30 minutes can we sustain a positive feeling and attitude? Actually, a significant amount, because we're dancing together or not, but the words, the teachings, the orientation is all uplifting and empowering and blessing. So tremendous opportunity. It's a wonderful thing. And you're moving your body. Your body needs to move. So please, those of you who are couch potatoes with the internet and the television, I would like you to set a timer of an hour and let the timer go off, and at least stand up and stretch for 30 seconds and just get the circulation going in your body. It'll be so helpful to you. So it's a one of those tips from Prema, but you know, from a number of scientists tell us this as well. Get up and stretch. But at any rate, the value of these practices that we do together when we gather together. So, and those of you who are student teachers and you don't have a big circle, I know it's not easy to sustain a circle. People have a million different things that they're doing, even though you may hear for the whole month of preparation how many people are coming. When it actually gets to that moment, who knows how many people are actually going to show up. But it doesn't matter. Some of the most powerful practices that my student teachers have done were when nobody showed up, and they simply conducted the entire meeting by themselves. So when you sign up for the student teacher program, if you are a level 1 or above, then your commitment should be to hold a meeting at least once a month. And the reason is to remind you, hopefully you meet with yourself and Tara every day. It will help you so much. It helps so much. So I really, really want to encourage you. The other practice that I really want to encourage you to do is the Vajrasattva, the recording that I made of the meditation by Baba. It's an incredible, helpful thing during these times to really, because we don't always recognize the negativity that we absorb when we hear, especially if you're watching the news a lot. You know, it gets really tricky because your body, again, every experience, it absorbs the energy that's in the experience. So you want to be able to really release this as much as possible and place something else in there. So I highly recommend, when we engage this the reason it's on my mind is because in Gainesville, I had several people who had never done much work with me before, and not very small group. So what we did, this is the first time I tried this, was we sat for the music meditation with Baba, and whenever the mantra came on with the English translation, I showed mudra. And so while we were sitting, we engaged in mudra, and then while the meditation was happening, we just sat. You might try this yourself just to see how it feels, but it was a wonderful thing to practice with the small group that we had. It was very, very powerful, very, very moving. So we enjoyed that so much that I did White Tower of the Six Shields the same way. So I think we finally did stand up for that one. But anyway, just to give you some ideas, that one was really good. So let's see, what else does this guy say? if you let your mind settle on self-criticism, self-loathing, pain, distress, stress, worry, fear, regret, guilt, these feelings and thoughts will shape your brain. You will be more vulnerable to worry, depression, anxiety, and be more likely to notice the negativities of a situation and frame things in a negative way. So the reason I wrote that, because what I try to do with these statements is I have something I want to share with you and it stimulates. If you're with somebody whose tendency is to be very negative, make it an effort to inject humor into the situation. Just be silly. Even if it bothers them, just be silly. See if you can, or try to redirect their attention into something beautiful or something wonderful, something that they love. Figure out what they like and try talking about what they like. It doesn't matter what it is, just to wean them away from the constant negativity. And then, you might drop this information every now and then about how negativity affects the brain and how they are in control. They're in charge. Nobody else is in charge of what they feel or what they do. They're in charge. This is something that people are definitely concerned about, the idea that other people are controlling them. So you want to really make sure that they know they are in control. Nobody's controlling them. But if they don't feel good, it's up to them to make a difference. So let's, see, it's not easy. Working with people who are chronically negative, that's one of the most difficult things to do, especially if you love them. But here it is, that gathering the skill and the power. Remember that one? Well, that's what we're trying to do here as we encounter these kinds of situations and these kinds of people. Okay, let's see, what else do I have? Oh, I still got a few minutes. I always wonder, God, do I have enough to say? What a joke. Anyway, well, it is our very human way to notice the bad. It is also human to let the good slide right off of us. So that really tickled me. So in other words, when we think about things during the course of the day, our obsessive mind grasps on what we are uncomfortable with, what we are afraid of, what's difficult. And we don't even concentrate or renew the thought about a pleasant thing that happened. And so what the scientist is saying is that we need to deliberately notice positive experiences, to take note. So in other words, for instance, now I'm looking at Adrienne and her beautiful smile, and there's a beautiful picture behind her, and it's delighting me. It's just filling me with a lot of delight. So I want to sustain this experience so that I can go back later and think, yes, of course, I'm looking at Parvati, I'm looking at Ivy, I'm looking at Carrie, I'm looking at Sherry and Valentina and Deborah. I can't see, there's somebody, Rose, is that Ayana Rose? Yeah, okay. Yep, then Catherine and Rita. And yep, over here we've got Liliha and Bonnie. All right. So I think there's a few more on here. Okay, there's Hope. And Elaine and Mary and oh my God, how many beautiful people. Gina, M.A., so glad you made it. And Phil, well, hi, Phyllis, you brought your guy with you. Hi. Oh, great. Okay, and here, I can't see your name. Oh, Braghetto. Hi. And Linda Lakshmi, Meadow, Julia, okay, in Orcas Island, yay, and Anjali and Barbara, Kala, wow, okay, yeah, every now and then we get to see you. Rarely these days. Nicolette and Miri, all the way from Brazil, is very nice. And wow, look at how many people we have. What have we got here? Oh, I can't see very well. Looks like 50. Claire, Stefania, Jazzy. Oh, right. Yeah, we were so happy that you got home. Jasmine was traveling back from Gainesville to Costa Rica, and she just slipped in before they closed the door. I was really worried about her. Yeah, I got caught on this side of the door going to Brazil. Albania, she must be back in Brazil. Okay, that's wonderful. Susie and Sarah, is that Sarah? Ciara? Yeah, hi. Okay, wonderful. Maya Terra in Brasilia. All right, wonderful. And Mei Chen did such a fabulous job of taking care of me when I was there in San Francisco. I was so grateful. It's amazing. Anatanya, okay, we can't see her face, but she's a lively one. I'm sorry that we're not going to be able to dance, but oh well. And there's Gisleni in New Zealand, yippee hi-ho, and Linda Borhout. Wow, okay, welcome. And Ciela, Noel, Elena, Lori, Claire. Well, a lot of people are not showing me their beautiful faces. But Pia, okay. Well, I am so grateful to have all of you here with us. So what else did I want to say? Talking about positive. Oh, that's right. I got a little distracted. The positive experience of seeing all of you. I just got carried away with that one. All right, let's see. And then, all right, being deliberate in focusing on the positive doesn't mean that we pretend the negative doesn't exist. Negative feelings are important. They deserve to be there. They act as a warning sign. They should be honored as much as positive ones, but they should not be allowed to take over. It's okay to feel bad, to sit with it, and to explore the wisdom it contains. The wisdom will always be there somewhere. But work towards balance. Focus on resilience. Focus on your courage. Remember to celebrate yourself. Celebrate yourself. Focus on your courage, your strength, your inner wisdom. If you're feeling lonely, take time to draw on memories of people who love and appreciate you. By directing your focus and staying with your experience, you can change your brain. You can shape it towards a more positive, compassionate, resilient, kinder, happier, and empowered and contented way of being. That is such good news. So use the practices. And finally, the brain will build around what it rests upon. What you pay attention to will shape your brain, which in turn will shape your experiences, your relationships, and your life. So that is a wonderful analysis of our engagement. So the last practice to do with our powerful, wonderful Tara and the mantra, as we try to distract ourselves from the power of the negative thoughts waiting for us in the muddy pool at the bottom of the mind. The third practice of the mantra is the one where we actually reach out to those who are suffering. And we can really think about that right now. All of us can think about it. First of all, imagine that you yourself are in your radiant light body, and that your radiant light body is just filled with wisdom and light and compassion and power. Feel yourself to be powerful. Feel the center of your heart pulsing with light, and this light pouring through you. You're like a sun, the sun with a beautiful, powerful nucleus, and all this energy and light pouring out of you from every pore, every part of you. And this wondrous light moves through the world. So first think of your family, those who are close around you in your environment, and see this light touching them. And imagine that wherever they are resistant to life, wherever their suffering is, whatever their circumstance is right now, that you take away the tendency for their self-grasping, for their grasping onto this. You help to liberate them. And you just take it away from them as if it was a little gray cloud. Their brilliant light starts shining as you take away their pain, their suffering, their confusion. You bring it towards you. And because you are made of light, it completely merges and transforms into more light. Now your light is even more powerful, so it moves even more into your neighborhood. You think of all of the people that surround you, all of your neighbors, all of the people who are they're in their houses, all the fear, all of the craziness, and you see your light touching them in such a way that they relax. You see them start to breathe more easily, more comfortably. And they remember how precious it is just to be alive. And you take away their confusion. You take away what's keeping them from seeing the wonder of their life. And you take it away like a little gray cloud. You magnetically draw it towards you and watch it completely transform and feed the power of your preciousness. You become even more powerful. And your light now fills the entire area. If you're living in a big city, it moves through just think of all of the people in all of these different apartment buildings and all of the different circumstances, all of the people that cannot work, all of the people that have to work. You think of all of the people in the hospitals, all the people of your area. Your light is so powerful and so strong that it's touching them and blessing them and helping them to meet this moment with wisdom, with peace, with comfort, with joy. And if there's anything resisting, you just take it away like a gray cloud and you drag it, you pull it towards you with the power of your light magnetism, and it dissolves into your field and transforms into brilliant wisdom light. And your light is now even more powerful. So you send it out until it completely fills your state or your county, your area. So it's huge now. All of the people on the farms, all of the people who still have to operate the trucks and all of their different circumstances, all of the people in whatever condition they are, the little villages or the little towns or the rural areas, all of the animals, you feel that your light is penetrating them, blessing them, uplifting them. You see them smile, and you take away their confusion and their suffering, and you draw it to you magnetically. You're so magnetic as this powerful radiant beam of being of light, and it absorbs into your light and transforms into wisdom nectar. Then we send this light out to all the countries of the world. We just think of Italy and Iran and China and Japan and Korea and all of the different countries of Europe, all the places where there are people. We just send it out as far as we can to this unbelievably beautiful planet that we inhabit. We send it out and we see everyone just for a moment smile. Everybody smiles. Everybody remembers how precious this human opportunity is, no matter what's going on. They are here for it. They awake this moment, recognizing their own brilliance. And you magnetically draw away from them their confusion and their pain. Magnetically draw it away and allow it to transform into wisdom nectar. So that's what you can do when you're chanting the mantra. That's what you can do to change the mindset of feeling that we're hopeless, we're inadequate, we can't do anything for our beautiful world. We can always send out the power of our love and our good wishes to humanity and imagine that it is actually happening. It is actually happening. This transforms the mind. This transforms our mind, our being, our whole presence. Yeah, that was fun. So an hour has gone zipping by. And now what I would really like to do is I would like to ask you all to tell us, because most of you are on the same kind of lockdown I am, just how are you dealing with this? Do you have some ideas for people? Just make it, brief so we can hear from a few people, but it would be really nice to hear what are you doing? What would you suggest if you had a mother who has a child or a person, someone, and you wanted to inspire them and give them some ideas of how to cope with this interesting time, what would you say? So I'm going to point out to you, if you don't want to talk, just do this, okay? And then I'll say somebody else. But Josh, are you ready? Turn yourself on, Josh, so you can talk to me.
I'm ready. I'll unmute anyone you point at unless they don't want to be unmuted.
Okay, so I'd like to start with Elaine. Elaine, would you like to say something? Okay, so Josh is going to unmute you.
I'm unmuted. Hi, everybody. I am just so glad you're all here. And this is a great example of what I've come up with. It's been kind of wonderful. I live in Seattle, in the epicenter here. We are not yet on complete lockdown, but we're encouraged to stay at home. And I was really stressed out earlier this week, just really, stressed out. And I went and took a walk by water, Lake Washington in this case. And walking by water is a great thing. Cats are a great thing too, by the way. This is Ella. And the other thing, this morning I attended the Orange County Quaker meeting. And I discovered that now that so many, churches and sanghas and stuff are online, you could probably attend a meeting somewhere else in another state, another whatever, that friends are gathering. I didn't think about that before, but now I'm going to see what other meetings I can attend that I would not be able to attend if it wasn't for everything online. So, yeah, practice with your friends.
Thank you, Elaine. Thank you. Yes, I wanted to mention that Pir Shabda had a Zoom talk for those of you who are Sufi inclined, and they had over 100 people joining with music and all kinds of inspiring things. So, yep, there's some wonderful things. Everybody is really stepping up online. I must say, all of the lamas are giving fabulous teachings and practices, and yeah, wonderful. Thank you, Elaine. So MA, coming from the other side of the country, would you like to share something with us? So Josh, could you unmute MA, please?
Could you
He's
spell that?
looking for you. Let me see if I can do it. There, I gotcha. Okay.
Hi. Hello. Well, one thing, I've also been exploring some of the Zoom offerings, and I'm catching up on all of the Tara Zooms that I've missed, because that's most of them. And so I'm looking for inspiration. That's what I'm. A lot of people are sharing very inspirational videos and thoughts and poems, and I'm also walking in nature. I'm fortunate to live in the country and have a lot of nature to explore, and I'm doing a lot of reading. A lot of it just escapist.
Okay, thank you, MA. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
So how about a mother, Meadow? How would you, let's see, I'm going to unmute Meadow. Ta. Yes. So how is it with two children?
It's been interesting to have us all, the two kids both homeschooling and Frank working and the grandparents. So we're all just a big clump of people right now. But so the kids, their teachers have been great and given us resources, so we've just been working through that. As far as how to stay happy and positive, we've been trying to cultivate gratitude. So we thanked the Amazon. Kai made a little thank you card for the Amazon delivery person, because Amazon's been keeping us stocked in supplies. It's actually quite adorable, so I'll share a picture of it with you. And we took a parallel walk with our neighbors. So we called them up, and they walked on the other side of the street, and we walked on one side of the street, and we were able to have a conversation and still take a nice long walk. So the kids got to play. So that was kind of nice. And if I can't find it, then I will not share it, but I think I know exactly where it is. So here it is. It's a really cute card, so it'll make everybody happy. Well, anyway, I can't find it, but it was a lovely card saying thank you for for taking care of us and for saving our grandparents from having to go out. And he said, "You're my hero," and he drew a little picture of somebody with a cape and it said Amazon on their chest. So the Amazon delivery person picked it up when they dropped off our package, and they were quite touched. And so that kind of thing, right? Like thinking about others and people outside and what they're doing, it brings a lot of joy to them, but it also brings a lot of joy to your own heart, bringing joy to others. And so trying to think about ways that we can reach out to others to bring joy to them, and also to open our own hearts in loving. That feeling of loving kindness is just like a really healing feeling. So I've been trying to do things like that.
Thank you, Meadow. Thank you. Okay, Miri Dakini from Brazil. Give us a word. Let's see if I can unmute you. Ah, there we go.
Hi, everybody. I'm here in my mother's house. She's 81 years old. And interesting because I can return to my house and I have a wonderful time with her. She's the peaceful one. My brother is a doctor, my sister, everybody's so intense. And she says, stop to send a message. She's so peaceful. And she tried to put me also. And this is very interesting because I think it's the first time I took time to be with her, to take care of her. It's only me can have contact with her. So it's very interesting moment. And also I have time to practice more. And here in South America, the Taras is so beautiful also. They make meetings through the Zoom. And this week, Tuesday, we will decide to do the Prema meditation with the mantra for 15 minutes. We listen the mantra, and after we are doing more 7 minutes, a little accumulation of the mantra. So this way, everybody it's not so long, and everybody together we welcome. Yes, I can be there. I can meet everybody here. And yes, and thank you for everybody for us to be together and we can have this moment. Here in Brazil, it's so sad. My son is in Madrid alone, and sometimes it's so difficult for me.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kiss for everybody.
Oh yes, we can kiss.
Yep.
So let's go to Hawaii. Kala, we don't hear much from you. How's it going? Where did she go? Oops, I scared her. Okay.
Can't unmute myself.
Okay. You unmuted.
Oh, aloha.
Hi.
Aloha. Am I on now? Hello? Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you. Yep.
Okay, great. Hawaii is interesting. Of course, the shelves have been empty, and it all seemed to come on really fast in a way. Last weekend, there was a beautiful baby shower. The whole tribe gathered of women, and I don't think we do that this weekend. So it seems like a very quick shift, as this has been with the world. As an astrologer, I've been fascinated watching the Jupiter-Mars conjunction and how this has come out, and the relevance back to the 14th century in the duplication of the same aspects. Fascinating. My husband's still working, and that's caused me some concern because he's a crisis response worker. So we're really trying to take precautions. I got the last box of gloves from the local ACE. But we're good because we got 6 acres, the kids are home, beaches are closed, that's sad. But we have a pool as soon as it warms up and the sun comes out, because we're in the rainy side and it's been quite wet. And I understand Kauai's been quite wet too. And we're happy that our airports are shutting down, or mostly shutting down. There's been a lot of tension on the island and calls for the mayor to be recalled because we need, all of the Hawaii cases are linked back to visitors. So this has caused some tension, especially with the lack of supplies. I have friends who are sewing masks. So their Facebook posts are, which ones do you like, the tropical flowers or the lava flow mask? So I think Kilo Hospital is going to be a little bit more colorful and hopefully not crowded. We just all really hoping and praying that this is a nice break to help the planet and, as they say, flatten the curve. And yeah, so anyway, we're good. You look lovely, by the way. So I'm so happy to see you and looking healthy, and look forward to, I almost got to the last Tara dance on Maui. Almost.
We'll have to do some virtual dancing. Thank you, Kala.
I look forward to that.
That's
I'm very thankful that we have fiber optic internet that was brought up here because of the Obama administration, because we're way remote in the rainforest, but we are connected. Yeah, so that's more important now than anything. So okay. Yeah, and the kids just got off spring break, so tomorrow is the first day of the virus shutdown. So they haven't quite realized yet that there's no school. You know, my grandson at UH is at his other grandmother's because the school shut down.
Very good.
Yeah, so interesting times.
Yep.
Interesting times.
Yeah. So let's hear from Canada, Miss Phyllis. Yeah?
Yes. Hi.
Hi. So what are your tips for getting through? How are things going up there in cold land Canada? I bet it's still cold up there.
It's just above freezing or around there. So I got sick last week. I was really sick. So when I go for a walk, I have to wear a scarf so I can breathe because I've got asthma now from it. But everything here is slowing down. It just feels calmer to me. I haven't been out in the world for over 10 days because I got sick. So it's it's very odd. But Gianna's school, everything's online. She'll be finishing her whole course online. And so there's the 3 of us in the house here, and we're trying not to bump into each other. But going for walks and lots of Zoom meetings. I have all kinds of office work that I'm getting caught up on finally. It's really, because I work from home, so I get to stay at work. But we're doing well, and Habib's been out in the world more than I have. We have one job running right now, but it's in an empty house, so not many people there. You want to say anything?
Okay.
No, I'm good.
All right, beautiful. So let's see. Someone that I haven't called on that would like to say something? All right, Anjali.
Am I unmuted?
Yep.
Hey, hello everybody. Hello. So good to see you all. So good. I guess tips, the things that are helping me, and that make me feel more connected. Of course, it's all the online stuff. So this is amazing, and I can't wait to dance together. Great idea, Prema. And Amber, I'm not quite there in terms of waking up early enough, but as soon as my schedule gets a little bit earlier, I will definitely join. And anybody else who's doing online dance, I would love to join you and do practice. And on April 5th, I will be doing our monthly gathering, our Wimberley, Texas gathering online, and you're all welcome to join, and I will send the link. So I'd love to dance with everybody. Apart from that, the other day I played a board game online with a bunch of people. I think something called Sparked. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of this game, but you ask questions and it connects people together. It was so fun. I would never have done that otherwise. Anyway, trying to inject a little levity in here, but really it was fun. And then apart from that, I'll just leave it to all of you. But I did want to ask if you all could say a prayer for my son. I've got a 22-year-old who's not with me in the house. He's in another state. He's in New York State. And he does take an immunosuppressant drug, and I am concerned. So I would so appreciate prayers. His name is Kieran, and he really is a little ray of light. So thank you. He's fine, but I'm just, knowing that I've said this and that you'll hold him in your prayers and practice means a lot to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Anjali. Beautiful. Okay, Ivy, I heard some exciting news that you might be spending more time in the islands. Is that true?
If I can get there. Yes, I bought property on Kauai.
Wow.
It's a house and 3 acres that we actually own now. So it's just a matter of getting there. Probably by the end of the year.
Wow. Well, congratulations, Ivy.
Thank you. Thank
And
you.
so you're up there in, where are you? Some far up in the north.
Oh, Lee, EY.
No, Madison, right now.
Oh, in Madison. Yeah,
Yep.
in the Midwest. Mm-hmm.
Cold?
Yep. It's 34 degrees or something. Mm-hmm. Not warm, but the sun shines, and so that's nice. Yeah.
So you got any special strategy for us?
Well, probably it won't come as a surprise to much of you that I am inviting people into my house to get together and hang out, because with its appropriate social distancing, and I'm going over to people's houses because I refuse to let the fear and scare of this virus keep me down and separated. We're not hugging and kissing, but we're connecting and just sitting near each other and knitting, or sitting next to each other and having a cup of tea, and taking walks outside, and sharing meals. One of the strategies actually that we're doing, which is a win-win, I think, because a lot of restaurants are all closed, is people are getting takeout to go, and then so you've got your own little whole contained meal, and then we sit together and eat our food. so that we're not sharing germs or utensils, and we're also helping to support the local restaurants that need to still be able to get income.
Thank
That's what
you,
I'm
Ivy.
doing. Sure.
Thank you. And I see
Prema?
that our beautiful, yeah.
I wanted to tell you that Nicolette said in the chat room that she would like to share.
Okay. Let's see if I can find Nicolette. Go ahead. Now you're whoops, what happened there? Unmute. Ah, there we go.
Okay. So what I really wanted to share is I'm in Vancouver, Washington, and I'm 60. So, and I'm still working, but that's changing. But what I really wanted to share was how important community is and how much I appreciated Phyllis. On Sunday of last week, Governor Inslee asked the restaurants and the beauty shops to all shut down. And I could feel the panic rising in me because of my past history. I know how so many people live on the edge. And I was just spiraling. I didn't know what to do. And I was really, really fearful and scared. And rather than just staying by myself in that energy, I reached out to Phyllis. And she was home. And I just was so grateful that this community is here and that she could help refocus me and say, breathing in and breathing out. But it was more than that. It was really helping me realize that we can't take it all on, and we have to do whatever practice we can. And this talk today was just fabulous about our mind and really focusing on what is powerful and what is good and true. And then on Monday, she sent me a couple of links about what Governor Inslee was doing and what our mayors were doing. And one of the things that Governor Inslee has done is he's made it very quicker for people to receive unemployment benefits. And they've passed emergency legislation so no utilities can be cut off. So the community is doing the best that it can, and that was extremely uplifting to me to know that there are people whose physical needs are going to be met. And we're fortunate here because we walk outside. I'm still working at Costco, but David and I have decided that it's time for me to say, okay, I'm going to stay home. So Wednesday will be my last day, and that makes me sad, but I know it's the right thing to do. And we live in a small community, so we still go outside, and my neighbor and I had a wonderful conversation over the car. It was really, but I mean, I saw him again this morning, and it's a beautiful spring day. And so David and I, we have enough space so we can give each other space. But again, community and Zoom is incredible. But just reaching out to Phyllis and allowing her to help calm my fears. And then even at work, I say mantra all the time. They may think I'm crazy because I'm muttering under my breath, but that that really sustains me. When my mind starts going down this very negative path, I pull myself back to Lakshmi. I know her mantra, and it's just like, that is where I go. And I felt very good that you mentioned that. So I'm done.
How wonderful, Nicolette. I hope that I meet people like you in Costco. That's really very special. How wonderful. So
Prema?
I see that Catherine Walker.
On
Yeah?
deck, we've got Amber, Catherine, and Ayana that would all like to share as well.
Okay, so let's start with Catherine.
Oh, Hi, Prema.
Hi.
Hi. I was really excited to hear that you mentioned the book by David Mitchie because about 10 days ago, I saw 2 more of his books, and I thought I'm going to treat myself to some really good reading. So I've now got The Art of Purring, The Power of Meow to look forward to reading, because I think that one of the things I've made a decision is to read really good books, inspiring books. I don't want to read anything at the moment that's going to jar my nerves a little bit. But so yes, I was very happy about that. And there are 2 more books that you can read. I've also bought in a lot of food so that my family don't need to worry about me, and that I can take care of myself in that sense. And if I've bought in too much, then I can share it with others. Give it away even.
Wonderful.
I'm walking still. We can do that here. For me, I'm now regarding this as an opportunity to retreat. So I can use my time in such a way that, you know, apportion time here and there throughout the day to do this, to garden, to meditate, to dance, to use the practice. And I've also bought a diffuser, so I've got beautiful smells like lavender to have in the house.
So Catherine, by the way, is in the South Island of New Zealand. Just for those of you who may not know, that we're at the moment in New Zealand with Catherine.
Yeah.
I'm so happy, Catherine, that you're taking care of yourself. I mean, that's an important point, is to let our families know that we're taking care of ourselves. This was a very important part of my decision to not go to Brazil, because I felt it would be irresponsible to the people who cared about me. So as much as my heart wanted to head in that direction, I recognized it wasn't just about me. I'm not afraid of the virus. I have a very strong immune system. But I know that we have to think about others. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Catherine. Well, we've just got a few more minutes. So Amber, you had something you wanted to say?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, just a few quick little like practical, very pragmatic tips. Quarantinis and online parties and dates can be a lot of fun. Having a drink, I don't drink, but having a drink with some friends tonight on the video chat. Yeah, fun new things to do. Hiking in the mountains. Anything that changes your perspective or your perception, right? So seeing those vistas and those views and feeling small, that's good sometimes, not feeling so self-important. Old-fashioned drives in the country, big advocate of that. Been doing that lately. Thank you to my driver over here. And obviously dancing with the Sangha every morning is the most powerful thing. And strangely, it's like growing. So you think everything's at a standstill, but yet there's new opportunities, as we know. So where I've been teaching in Woodstock, all the city people are retreating there. It's this retreat space. And they're every day there's more people and they come and dance. So there's like new taras. It's bizarre and wonderful. So
how wonderful.
Yeah. So that's all I have to share. Thanks.
Thank you, Amber. Okay, someone, Josh, I see you're sending me a message, but I can't see what it is.
Hey, Anna, you're unmuted, and then Hope will be after.
Aloha. It's so amazing and wonderful to see everybody. I'm very grateful again for Zoom number 17. I have been, you know, it's a wave, and I've just been riding it. And definitely grateful for this mysterious retreat that's been thrust upon us. And just allowing myself to wander daily with what presents itself. Of course, there's still a few things that need to be done at a certain time. My massage school is now on Zoom, and participating in these different ways that we're connecting. I'm so happy for Zoom. It's doing really good. And, but, you know, nice to just have more spaciousness. I actually forgot what day it was. I don't know. I couldn't figure out what day it was, because this spaciousness and this lack of, like, you know, the schedule, like what am I doing on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, kind of dissolving. So it's very interesting. I had a wonderful time doing some artwork. I did a big chalk drawing on my big giant chalkboard. I'm making a baby doll for my new grandchild that's coming in a few weeks. So art projects are good. And my animals are wonderful to be with and share with. I'm lucky I have my daughter downstairs in the apartment, so I'm able to kind of not be so alone. And a little frustrated that my grandkids are right around the corner and I can't see them, because my family's definitely encouraging me, as being 65 here in a few months, you know, to just be part of the solution. I'm happy to be part of the solution. And there's so many silver linings, and there's so much behind what we think this is about. It's bigger. It's this opportunity, and there's so many beautiful poetry going around about slowing down and letting go. So there's, you know, I go through different phases, and surrender is such an interesting thing. It's such a, like, coming up against surrender with this little tiny, like, membrane. It's almost like a membrane of resistance. And then when you pop through this membrane, it's like, you know, this huge release. It's almost like when we dissolve in the practice, there's this huge release. And then we come up against it again, and then, so we get to have that experience a lot of times with the different feelings that we're all going through. So I'm so grateful for the dance and for this beautiful Sangha. And I kept scrolling through all the pages and seeing everybody. And anyway, enough already. Mwah.
Thank you, Ayana. Thank you. So
See you on Zoom.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Okay, and then did you say Hope, Josh?
Yes, Hope will be next.
Okay.
Yeah?
Okay.
Yeah, let's see. Where's Hope? There she is.
Oops. Okay, Hope, you're on.
Hi. Hi. Last time in your last video, you spoke about the altar as a source of inspiration, and coming out of the Tibetan Buddhist monastery, I'm sometimes hung up on the right way, blah. So the cool thing is that since listening to your video, I have this really fun, inspired Tara altar and shrine right in the center of my kitchen, because I'm a big believer of bringing her right in the kitchen where I like to dance, and sometimes joining the Amber dancing circle. So that's just, and it's a fun altar. It's like an inspired altar. What brings me joy, you know, like the various offerings, but in a creative way. So thank you for that inspiration. And it's just really nice to have Tara at the center of things. I have in this new apartment like a separate little room for a shrine room, but I really haven't set it up because this is where I'm spending my time. So anyway, and also watching cooking videos and really like stocking my kitchen and like trying out new things. It's kind of fun.
All right,
so thank you. I miss you all.
Okay,
Beautiful.
next we've
Okay.
got Julia.
Julia. Okay. Where is Julia? Is Orcas Island, yeah? Julia, where is she?
I got her. Unmuted.
Okay, oh great, there she is. Hi, Julia.
Aloha. It's so good to see everybody here, your beautiful faces, and to connect with our hearts and minds is very special. And this is such an amazing time to put all these teachings to use. And it's funny that when things weren't as scary, the teachings weren't so like active and alive in my mind. But now it's like, I don't really want to experience the opposite, you know, of not practicing. So these, all the teachings that of doing the Tara dance, and when we do the practice, it really struck me when you were describing about how the neuroscientist was saying what you focus on becomes more powerful. And so we have this beautiful goddess Tara and her mandala to focus on, and to have that arise in our mind is so powerful. And it's just, I'm so grateful for having that practice and that study. And I also wanted to ask you what book you were reading from, the neuroscientist book.
It's not a book. It was an article that Linda Lakshmi sent me. I don't know where she found it, but let me see if I can sort out here. Okay, it was posted by Karen Young. So I guess it's an article online.
Okay, awesome.
By Karen Young. What you focus on is what becomes powerful. And of course, I will send you all of the notes, because I know that you are an ardent supporter of the Zooming. So yes, I'll send those on. That, and I have quite a number. I didn't get into those today, but they'll come along also as part of that.
Nice.
So great.
Thank you so much.
Julia. It's really nice to see you.
Okay,
and
now we've got Mumtaz Anna. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing it right.
Mumtaz, Mama Mumtaz.
One second.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Oh yeah.
Aw. Hello, my dear friend, teacher. Thank you, Prema, for doing this. I think about you every day. I do. And I hope you sense that in some way, but I'm just so inconsistent about connecting on these Zooms, and it doesn't mean that I'm not thinking about you when I sit and do my practice. And so I love you. Just wanted to reach out, and it's so wonderful to see everyone I haven't seen in several months. It feels like it was just yesterday, even though it's been 3 seasons since I was able to participate face to face. So anyway, I drove to Red Hook yesterday to pick up my oldest. So I have both my kids.
Where are you? Are you in Pennsylvania or in Texas?
I'm still in Pittsburgh. Yes, ma'am. I'm still in Pittsburgh. So I'm here and working, and have both my children, 19 and 17, at the house now. My oldest college campus shut down, so we had to go unexpectedly retrieve them. And so we're all together. It's kind of exciting. And I've got to get more of the hang of this Zooming, because my work's been put online, and it's something I've done intermittently before, but I just need to jump in and do more of it. So I was glad to be able to connect today and see you. I was going to ask you, where our Dharma Center is closed here, like most are, and we were sent a practice to do that was Parshavani. It's something to do with dispelling illness, and I wasn't sure if that was something that was going around. Basically, it's the Parnashavari for home practice. Parnashavari.
Mumtaz, I haven't heard about this particular practice, but there are many, many, many practices. And if you are connected with the Dharma Center and you've done practice with the center, it's a good idea, if you have time and the practice seems to interest you, to go ahead and do it. It's only going to be a benefit.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter that it comes from another lineage or another gesture. It's fine. Yeah.
Okay. Well, it was something sent out to
No, that's okay. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah. You just go ahead and enjoy it.
Okay.
If you enjoy it, just go ahead and do it. Okay. Thanks.
All right, Prema. We also have Meadow and Estefania who would like to speak.
Oh, okay. Well, let's hear from Estefania, because I know Meadow probably found her card. No, she didn't find her card. Okay, but let's hear from Estefania. We haven't heard from her. Go for it.
Can you hear me?
Yes, and I can see you too.
Okay, great, awesome. Hi everyone. I just wrote some things down that have helped me during this time to keep calm and peaceful and happy. Both myself and my son are home now, and our space is very small, but we're doing things to give each other space, even when the space is limited. And we try to honor that. And one of the things that has helped me is to write in the mornings. When I get up, I have my markers and my pens, and I draw and I color things, whatever. Usually right now I'm drawing flowers and little berries and things like that. So I'm also learning to play a new instrument, which is a turntable. So I'm a DJ, but I never really learned how to scratch. And so I'm driving my son crazy, scratching the record all day, but that inspires me and I love it. And so that leads me to play music, and then him and I are just dancing by ourselves together. So that is something that really helps me and inspires me happy, and going out just outside and seeing the garden, listening to the birds. Yesterday a bird pooped on me.
Blessing.
I was taking a picture of a beautiful plant. Anyways, those are the things.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you for sharing, Stefania. Your son is 7, right? How old is he? 7, right?
No, he'll be 13 next week.
Oh, 13. Oh my gosh. Locked in a tiny apartment with a 13-year-old. Wow.
I know.
And you're still surviving. Wonderful. Oh, kudos. Okay, so one more. Josh, who do we
Okay,
have
I
on?
wanted to make a quick note. I'm getting a lot of comments from the chat panel saying that the links aren't working in the chat panel. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure to get every link that we've received in the chat panel, send in an email. Also, my email address is in the chat panel if you want to send me any links, and we can just share it with everyone that's here. And I also wanted to mention this really cool thing that I just found out. It's a Google Chrome extension called Netflix Party, where you can watch Netflix with anyone else across the world, and it comes up with your little side chat, and you're basically watching TV together remotely. Anyway, that's what I wanted to say. So don't worry about the links. You can Netflix and chill remotely. And if you'd like, I can open up Meadow for another statement.
Okay, and then I would like at least one line from Ms. Parvati. So, okay, Meadow, you're on.
Hi, I did find the card, but what I wanted to say that I should have said is to all moms or dads or caregivers, and it probably also relates to hospital workers or medical personnel, is that a lot of times, those of us like that, we actually are getting busier now. It's not a retreat. It's not a slowing down period. It's not a getaway. There's actually more to do now with everybody home. So don't forget your practice. Like, it's so important that if you're feeding your family, that you're feeding yourself. It makes, like, double down on your practice. It makes a huge difference in your ability to stay sane, and your family's ability to stay sane, and your friends' ability to stay sane. It really, really makes a huge difference. So just don't forget, because it's usually the first thing to go. And here's the card. I don't know if you can see it.
Yay, Amazon. That's adorable. Thank you, Meadow.
Prema, you said you wanted to hear from Parvati? Is that what you said?
Yes. Yes. I see her. There we go. You're on. Oops, you just got muted again.
I double whammied it, sorry.
Now, there we go. So good to see you all and hear from some of you, and those of you that we don't see, to feel you. As Carrie and I have been gathering this week and dancing every day, at least 1 hour, it has felt so profoundly connected with all of you through the ethers, and as we meet in Tara's Pure Land and this beautiful lineage. So thank you, Prema, for these beautiful dances. Thank you, Miri, Thank you, Anahata. Thank you to Shivadam and all the musicians that in South America. I can't even begin to name them all because there are so many, yeah. But just so grateful for everybody's amazing cultivation of these practices, because what an incredible circumstance we found ourselves in, and what phenomenally incredible resources we have to support us. And I remember when I went on retreat at your house, Prema, all those years ago for the first time, and my dad went into the hospital to die, and my stepdad went into the hospital potentially dying. And it just drove my practice so deep. It was so intense and so beautiful that it happened exactly that way. And that's how this experience has been for me, is just, it's just, I said I wanted to be dancing Tara every day. So Carrie and I rearranged the furniture and the house that I'm in, and we're dancing Tara every day. And it's just beautiful. So thank you.
How wonderful.
I will send a message out to everybody so that you can let us know if you want to link in with us. We were just doing it as private practice, but we feel you all, and we'd love to invite you. And if you aren't lucky enough to be where you can be dancing physically with others, then please, we'd like to include you too. We've been dancing about 11 to 12 Arizona time, so we can reach out to you.
Thank you, Parvati. Thank you. And I also wanted, speaking of another part of the world, we have Valentina. Valentina, where, yes, surprise. Where are you?
I'm in my house here in Viña del Mar. It's the coast.
In Chile, yeah?
Yes. I'm with my family. I live with my grandparent, my mother, my father, and my sister. At the beginning, it was quite challenging, you know, but now I'm reading like my own notes from, I don't know, 3 years, something like that. And I'm taking it like a retreat for myself, and to look forward, where am I going to go when all this happened. And yeah.
So how are things in Chile? Are you also on lockdown there? People have to stay inside their houses?
No, just volunteering. And it's quite a crazy times here in Chile, because, you know, the government just have 6% of approving. The people just don't trust on the government, you know.
6%.
So
Wow.
it's real crazy. Yesterday, the Minister of the Health
Minister.
He just said like maybe the virus suddenly become a good boy, something like that. It's just crazy. So we're doing the best we can in these conditions, but it's crazy. It's really crazy. So I'm practicing here in my house. We want to make a Zoom reunion for we can practice together. There's a lot of fear too, because how the things are going on with this government, but we're doing our best.
Thank you so much for sharing, Valentina. It's really helpful for us to really get perspective, because many of us that are in this meeting, we're very comfortable, even though the conditions are challenging. You know, government-wise, we haven't fallen apart. You know, there's a significant amount of support. So it's helpful for us to really open our hearts to the people.
And me too. Even if I'm here in Chile, I'm very comfortable here in my house and with my family and my friends. But you know, I'm 10%. The 19 rest is just crazy. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you for reminding
And to
me.
have all you here too. So thanks.
Yeah. So my beloveds, I am so grateful that we could come together, and of course we'll do it more. We'll do it more, and we'll keep dancing, keep loving, and for this moment, just let us imagine that whatever good feelings we've gathered, whatever inspiration, whatever joy, whatever wholesomeness we have gathered, that we send it out into the world, and we pray for all of the conditions, for all of those who are in difficult circumstances, that they might find relief, and that our world will find some magical, wonderful, precious way to use the power of this time to bring blessing and benefit to all. So thank you, and let's Om Hung together. Om Om With great gratitude. Thank you so much, Josh, for hanging in there with us and making it possible for this to happen.
My pleasure.